If you're a product manager, you know the drill. You get handed this big, messy, ambiguous problem. The clock's ticking, and everyone's looking at you for the answer. It's really the heart of the job, but it's also where everything can go wrong really fast.
I mean, think about it. Someone comes to you and says, hey, we need to increase engagement, or let's build the next big AI feature. But what does that even mean? These aren't really problems, they're more like symptoms. And if you start building based on a symptom, you're pretty much already on the road to failure.
But what if there was a repeatable way to turn all that chaos into clarity? A kind of mental model that the best PMs use not just to survive, but to actually thrive in that ambiguity. Well, that's exactly what we're going to dig into in this explainer.
Okay, let's dive right in. The average day for a PM can feel like you're standing in the middle of a crazy intersection with no stoplights. You've got pressure coming from all sides, and the goals? Well, the goals can be incredibly fuzzy. You're juggling these conflicting demands from sales, marketing, and engineering. You're handed these super vague problem statements with this insane pressure to just ship something, anything. And all the while, you're trying to manage priorities with success criteria that feel like they're written in invisible ink. This kind of environment, it's a breeding ground for unstructured, chaotic thinking. So, what's the knee-jerk reaction to all this pressure? It's to jump straight into solutions, right? Call a big brainstorming meeting, fill up a whiteboard with a million feature ideas. And yeah, it feels productive, but it is the single biggest mistake a product team can make. It's what we call the solution-first trap. And this right here, this gets to the absolute heart of the danger. You can build a technically flawless product that completely misses the point for the user. It's a beautiful solution to the wrong problem, which means it's a failure. You've just wasted time, you've wasted money, and you've wasted your team's morale. Now, what's so powerful about this slide is seeing the two paths side by side. The chaotic PM is always reactive, totally focused on features. But the structured PM, they're proactive, problem-focused, and they always start with why. You can think of it like this. The chaotic PM is constantly putting out fires, while the structured PM is actually fireproofing the building. That is the fundamental shift you have to make. So how do you become that structured PM? Well, the best ones don't just have better instincts, they have better systems. They use a repeatable framework to cut through all that ambiguity. It's not magic, it's a toolkit for clear, structured thinking that you can learn and start using like today. So here it is, a simple 4-step framework. This is inspired by methods like circles, which, if you don't know, is a really common problem-solving method they use in PM interviews at places like Google. First, you comprehend the situation. Next, you identify the customer and their needs. Only then, once the problem is totally clear, do you ideate on solutions. And finally, you prioritize to figure out the best way forward. Let's really drill down on that second step, identify, because it's so critical. This user persona for someone named Lakshmi isn't just a bunch of random data points. It lists our actual pain points with a grocery app. Products are unavailable, the app is poorly organized, the filtering is imprecise. See, each one of these is a potential doorway to a real solution. Imprecise filtering could lead to features that let you filter by dietary needs. Product unavailability might spark ideas for smart substitution suggestions. This is how you go from a vague idea to something you can actually solve. Okay, this all sounds great in theory, right? But let's make it real. We're going to take this exact framework and apply it to a concrete problem, and I'm going to show you how it works, step by step. So here's our problem statement. We need to evaluate and redesign the building the cart experience for the grocery app Zepto. And the specific goal is to increase the average order value and retention for users over the age of 35. Okay, let's walk through it. Step 1, comprehend. We've got a clear business goal. Boost order value and retention for a specific group. Check. Step 2, identify. We anchor ourselves to our user, Lakshmi, and her specific pain points. Now, step 3, ideate. This is where we go wide. Based on her pain with poor organization, maybe we brainstorm solutions like a shop by recipe feature or past purchases lists. For product unavailability, maybe we think about a notify me when back in stock button or even an AI-powered smart substitute option. Then, step 4, prioritize. We look at all these ideas and weigh them against our goal. We might realize that, hey, new filtering features are a pretty low-effort, high-impact win that will directly make Lakshmi's life better. Just like that, we went from a vague goal to a clear, defensible action plan.
Now, this framework is a game changer for any PM.
But in the world of AI, where the complexity and ambiguity are just on a completely different level, it's not just helpful, it's absolutely essential. The solution-first trap here isn't just building the wrong feature, it's potentially building a multi-million-dollar model that solves a problem nobody actually has.
You see, an AI PM isn't just managing features. They're managing models, data pipelines, and a huge amount of user trust. They have to find those rare situations where machine learning gives you a solution that is 10 times better than the simple alternative. And that requires an even deeper level of structured thinking to separate the hype from what actually helps a user.
So, the key takeaway here is that AI PMs have to layer a whole new set of questions on top of our framework. Just look at these. Is this problem best solved by AI? Sometimes, a simple if-then rule is faster, cheaper, and way more reliable. How will we measure model success versus business success? Your model could be 99% accurate, but if it doesn't move that business metric you defined back in step 1, it's a failure. And here's the huge one. What is the user experience when the AI is wrong? Because it will be wrong. For a music recommendation, a bad pick is, whatever, a small annoyance. For a medical diagnosis tool, a mistake can have devastating consequences. As an AI PM, you have to deeply understand and design for the cost of being wrong.
So we have covered a ton of ground here. We've seen the trap of unstructured thinking and the incredible power of having a clear framework, especially when you're working in the complex world of AI. Now let's boil all of this down into a simple, memorable toolkit you can start using today. So here is your toolkit for turning that chaos in clarity. I want to challenge you. This week, start with why. Before you write a single ticket, make sure you can perfectly articulate the core user problem you're solving. Second, truly know your user, way beyond the surface level. Third, consciously use the 4-step framework. Comprehend, identify, ideate, prioritize. And if you're working in AI, layer on those critical questions we just talked about. This is your edge.
And that brings us to the final question, which is for you. Think about the most ambiguous, complex challenge you have on your plate right now. What's the one problem you are going to apply this framework to this week to finally turn that chaos into clarity?
Thanks for watching. Subscribe and like.